your experience, what is the most appropriate size and age to start breeding a hognose snake?
Okay, so what I've found has been the most reliable for me is more age than size. So I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two exact polar opposites, so you can see why I'm saying that. One, you can get a yearling female. I've sold females to friends, and I've sold females to regular clients from my clutch mates to mine. In a year, I'm getting photos, and they're 270 grams.
Wow.
My females are 150. So that's almost double the size. So if you go by just weight, that, you know, that female is not ready. She's not mature enough to hold. But my female is 150, 160 grams. She's 6 months away from brewmating at 2 years, just shy of 2 years. To 2 years is fine to brewmate. Then when they come out, they're mature enough. And for those people that haven't brewmated, they don't know the difference. But believe it or not, there's a lot of animals that you put into brumation, and the moment that they come out, they look mature. It's something. It's unexplainable. I could explain it to you, but you gotta experience it.
You gotta see it.
Like their faces, their heads bulk out. They get more of a mature look, where it's not like, just a long, lanky snake. They mature, and I feel like maturity is definitely the route to go. So 2 years, you could have girls at 130 grams at 2 years old, or you could have girls that are 350, 400. I've even seen people go up to 500 grams and more. I'm sure there's bigger ones out there. I'm sure there's a bunch of Hogzillas out there. But for me, I would say 2 years minimum. And I've done as small as 130 grams pre-breeding, like before breeding. I would do 130 grams, and that was a 4-year female. She was 4 years old, and 130 grams. At 2 years old, she was at 130 grams, and she never went a step above. And then I spoke to a couple of friends of mine, and I got a couple, suggestions, and I went ahead and I bred her because she was mature enough already. After the videos that I seen, there was a lot of females in the wild that were only 150 grams, and some of them were double clutching already, according to the time of year. So I went ahead and I bred her to the snow conduct. Went ahead and I bred her, and she went from 130 grams to 190 grams with the first clutch, and she laid 12 fertile eggs. And I didn't think I was going to get a first fertile clutch. And, she clutch no problem, doesn't even look that bad, didn't even look like I thought she was going to look. And she starts to slam food. I'm giving her multivitamin with the feedings. I'm giving her a little bit of dusted calcium for extra calcium. And she goes into her prelay shed for her double. Okay, I guess she's gonna double. Lo and behold, she goes through it. She hit another 9 eggs, and perfect, all fertile. Look, and then I had females that were 3 years old, 400 grams, and I couldn't even get one fertile egg out of them. They would plug out. And I know that they were bred and everything. So I feel like maturity and body mass, health-wise, it's definitely the way to go. 100%.
So you think the leaner females do better than the big?
I can't say for somebody else. I know my males max out between 60 and 90 grams or 100 grams, which is still 100-gram male is huge. 100-gram male is big. And I've had 100-gram males on 300-gram females, 400-gram females huge. That's not a small hog nose. That's a big girl. And I've had them successfully breed, lock, everything. I've had them either reabsorb, they've laid slugs, or I've gotten maybe 4 or 5 eggs out of 30 eggs, 26 eggs, 28 eggs, and I've only gotten, a handful of fertile eggs. So personally, I think that the ideal weight and the ideal age is minimum about 2 years. And I feel like the sweet spot, I would say, that's what we call the sweet spot, is between 2 years of age and 3 and about 250 grams, 260 grams. Those are the girls that are going to give you, in my opinion, of course, there's many ways of doing it, but in my opinion, I feel like those are the girls that are going to do the best for you. Those are the girls that are going to most likely double and they're not going to suffer because they're not big, where they're not going to give you a ton of eggs, but at the same time, they're mature enough where they can handle it and they'll bounce back. And if you're feeding good and you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, you're giving them the right amount of water. Quality of water is important. You don't want no water that's contaminated. You don't want none of that stuff. You want clean water, and you should be fine. You should be okay with a 200-gram female, 300-gram female in the 2-year range, 3-year range, even 4-year range is perfect. That's what I found that works perfect. And I know people that are breeding 10-year females. They're 10 years old and they're still going. I mean, why not? If they're laying,
Yeah.
they're going through the system, they're going through the whole motion like they would. There's no reason not to. Some people feel like, oh, that's an old girl, you need to retire. But if you do retire that girl and you're still feeding her and she's still doing everything she's supposed to, she looks perfectly fine, and she's still gonna slug out occasionally because she wants to. There's girls that could pick up the scent of a male in the room, doesn't have to be in the same rack. They're just in the room, and they'll go off a feed. There's girls that would literally go off a feed. Same thing with males. There's males. I have 6-month-old males now, 8-month-old males now, that they can pick up female scent and they'll go months.
Wow. All right.
They'll just pick up again. And there's no scent that you're gonna trick them into eating because their mind is not on eating. How can I find that female? And they'll surf the cage back and forth, and you'll be like, I don't know what to do because they're losing weight, and of course they're gonna lose weight. Temperature is still 85 to 90 degrees, depending on how hot you keep it, and they're obviously burning body fat because they're trying to find a female, so they're pacing around, and they're not eating. They're gonna lose weight. And then all of a sudden, magically, 3 feedings, 4 feedings in, and they look perfectly fine again.
Yeah.